Welcome to the Transformers Breakdown, episode 14 in season 2, The Day of the Machines. In this particular episode, Megatron breaks into a computer lab in order to take over Torque, a machine that can make other machines, a very smart computer, and he puts these remote control chips on the machine so Torque can control them via remote control. The Autobots stop it from happening, and let's get started. It starts off with Quantum Laboratories. Megatron and Soundwave are hidden. It's obvious that you can tell which one is Soundwave, but Megatron is actually inside a little violin case, so a whole gangster reference going on there. That was thought of it interesting. Then you've got Megatron breaking in. He has a horn that comes out of his forehead that connects to Torque, so he gives Torque all his mental abilities, so Torque is like his child. So I thought that was really interesting. It starts creating an army of machines, tells Torque to create an army of machines. So Torque starts creating an army of machines. Megatron puts these chips on. He tells Torque to put the chips that he has created on the machines. So it's really interesting. It's a 3-level reveal, because first you've got Soundwave, right? Then you've got the case, and inside the case is Megatron, and then they've got this box. Like at the beginning of the episode, you've got those 3 little elements, so they get revealed each one at a time. Inside the box are the chips. So all that stuff I thought was really interesting, just alone. Paul Gates is one of the scientists, reference to Bill Gates, robots that can build robots. I thought that whole concept was really interesting, and they could have followed it through. So Torque takes control of the entire lab. The doorknob is really scary. If you see the doorknob that locks the scientists in, that's pretty scary. Then Megatron goes out to control oil tankers, because he's going to take the oil to give to his base so he can control the energy. The oil tankers go to the base, and then the Autobots find out. Hound, Skyfire, and Spike go to Megatron's base to stop the oil tankers. Optimus and his friends go to the base to go to the computer place to stop Torque. Torque sends out machines to attack the Autobots. The Autobots win. These are really intricate machines. I thought that just the whole concept of this Torque guy being able to create new machines, I thought was really interesting. The Dinobots show up because the Autobots cannot take care of it. They want someone to smash. So the Dinobots show up. Now, another interesting thing about the Dinobots is that I always wondered why the Dinobots did not form into one giant Dinocon or Dinocon, what do you know what I mean? Like a giant Dino King or something like that, like Predaking. Because they all seem to have similar elements. You've got Swoop, which resembles Dive Bomb. You don't have a fast one in the Dinobots. They just pretty much smash. And Megatron has this force field. So yeah, the Dinobots smash everything. Then Megatron has this giant force field that covers his entire base. Now mind you, the Autobots, who have scientists, have a tiny little force field that can protect them in the previous episodes. So I thought that was really interesting. And this force field seems super weak. So Megatron, I know, has scientists, and I know that Soundwave, even though he is a spy, I believe he's got to be a scientist. And Shockwave, I believe, is a scientist. He does experiments, and so is Starscream. That's for sure, because Starscream has oftentimes mentioned that he is a scientist. Another things about the color palette: Skyfire is white with a little bit of red and a little bit of blue. So white, he is a scientist. I've mentioned this before, that the color white palette is oftentimes referred to as the healers in the Transformers universe. Constructicon, and you see this even more so with the Protectobots, where the lighter color shades are used for the Protectobots. In this one, Hook is yellow. In the Decepticons, Hook from the Constructicons, he's funneling the oil. And what's really interesting is that in the first when they first made the Constructicons, they were green, and then when they made them again, they were this shade of yellow. So I thought that was really interesting, and I wonder if it had anything to do with this. But Torque ends up creating a maze for Optimus. Optimus starts trying to fight his way through. Torque puts a little chip on Optimus, and he thinks he's controlling Optimus. And this is another really interesting fact that, I mean, Torque is extremely powerful because he can control Autobots, and he can really take over, you know. So there's a throwback to the previous episode where the Autobots were becoming evil. So, but the thing is that Optimus fools him, and he crushes the chip, and he starts like bashing Torque, and the Autobots. Then they beat up Torque. Torque stops having control. The Autobots go out to sea to save Spike, Skyfire, and Hound. And so Spike, Skyfire, and Hound fool Frenzy by doing this whole, and they call him "you dum dum." They use magnetic things to be able to trap Ravage and Rumble. So Optimus says to Megatron, "Your pumping days are over." Yeah, Megatron auto-destroys base and the platform, and then the Optimus Optimus and his friends get on the hydrofoil. Which another thing, this is a thing where they could have made. There's a lot of things that they could have expanded on in this episode. And so that's that episode, and they get away, and everybody wins. Well, not everybody wins. Megatron does not win, because he never wins, you know? So that's the episode. Did you like it? Did you love it? You can follow me on Twitter, ChescoPLR. And that's it. Alright, hasta la hago con Lelo. And let me know your Transformer theories. What do you think?